So my new Roman Empire is thinking about how prohibition really had nothing to do with the consumption, like drinking of alcohol. Really, it had to do with the fact that we had so much almost free energy from alcohol. Everything ran off of alcohol. Did you guys know that? Our cars ran off of alcohol. We had refrigerators that ran off of alcohol. We had stoves that run off of alcohol. Where did all of these inventions go? Alcohol, actually, turns out it's not that hard to make. You just ferment all of your food scraps, which everyone has. So everyone was able to make their own alcohol. Everyone was able to make their own fuel for free or for pennies with literal garbage. No one was really making money off of that. No one was making money off of the power that we had to use to heat our homes, to cook our food, to cool our food in the fridge. No one was making money as we were driving our alcohol-powered cars. Our fermented garbage alcohol-powered cars. So in order to get us to stop using this free, environmentally friendly form of energy, they made it illegal. Ugh.
Let's play a game. I'm about to give you a bunch of random situations and you can tell me how many random coincidences the world is full of. So this is Ari to Go. He patented technology on free energy. He was headed to the airport to go meet some investors, but he never made it to his flight because he was found dead in his car. That's random. This is Stefan Marinov. He is the leader of the European free energy movement. In 1997, he had a major breakthrough, and as they were working on the prototype, he was found dead. What? Yeah, apparently he fell out of a window. This is Dr. John Mullen. He is a nuclear physicist that worked for one of the largest military contractors in the world. Apparently, he discovered something really big in the realm of energy, but unfortunately, before he could come out with this information, he died from arsenic poisoning. But don't worry, his girlfriend was the primary suspect. She was actually found dead in her apartment as well. They didn't go after any other suspects. Case closed. This right here is Dmitry Petronov. He invented a plasma battery that powered his 2-story house for 14 months. One day he went to go get bread from a bakery and was never seen again. Zachary Warfield was also working on a plasma battery. He actually met with Dmitry a couple of times where they would exchange notes. He mysteriously died in a boating accident in Washington, D.C. Eugene Malov was an expert physicist in cold fusion. He claimed to have a working prototype of a free energy device, but the day before he was going to go public, he was beaten to death. That's so random. Rory Johnson invented a cold fusion motor that generated over 500 horsepower. The Department of Energy took a restraining order against the technology so he could never publicize it, and you're never going to guess what happened to him. Everyone who knew him said he was super healthy, had no health issues, but he died mysteriously. Mark Tomian was awarded a patent for a zero-point energy system. After he developed his working prototype, he was found mysteriously dead, and the crazy thing is, his research is missing. What? Or you might recognize this one. This is Stan Thompson. He developed a car that ran off of water. After developing his working prototype, he went to go to lunch with 2 investors so that he could gain money to push this technology out there. He died during lunch. His last words were, "I've been poisoned." Nikola Tesla believed he could make free energy. And all of his research was funded by, guess who? J.P. Morgan, when he claimed to have figured it out and he wanted additional capital so that he could expand his inventions. J.P. Morgan shut him down. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that J.P. Morgan owned General Electric, he owned copper mines, he owned rubber mills. Anyways, the reason why the world has so much inequality, the reason why things are so expensive, it has nothing to do with the fact that we keep inventing technology that can help people, but we suppress it. Anyways, I don't know, what do you guys think? Isn't that crazy? What coincidences? The world is a weird place.
Back in like the 50s or the 60s, they had a whole movement going on. I might have the decades mixed up. Y'all do the research. But they started saying, yo, the children are eating paint chips. And because there's lead in the paint, we need to start removing all lead paint from now on. Right? Because I know you've heard about lead paint, right? Yeah, no more lead paint. Why? Because the babies is eating paint chips. In your lifetime, have you ever seen any kid eat paint chips before?
No.
You, any paint chips? No? Okay. You know, anytime you want somebody to do something without thinking, just say it's hurting the children. You know what I'm saying? Why would they want to remove lead paint from the homes?
Because
Here we go.
of
Come
the
on.
technology, because of it blocks radiation.
There we go.
It blocks radiation.
Look at them neurons firing. Superman is all powerful. But hey, put that kryptonite in a lead box, he won't know it's there. So how else am I gonna get frequencies, 5G and all that stuff to permeate through your walls and through your home, affecting you so I could see through your house and see your body and connect with you as a network if your paint got lead in it and I can't get in there? So get some lead paint, y'all. You didn't hear that from me.
Is it still?
Yeah, there's still lead paint. Yeah, they got EMF shielding paints and everything. It's listen, there's a whole world out here where this is known. People understand this science and they hack in their house all types of ways. There's people that go to sleep with they take a copper wire and they tie it around their toe and they'll put the copper wire out their window and into the ground so that they're ground as they're sleeping. And they have beautiful dreams and the best rest, and they get up feeling like the Incredible Hulk, like they could bench press a house.
What's a coincidence that you think about a lot?
I don't know what you would consider a lot, but I've thought about this every day for the past 2 years. In 1888, a man named Ingersoll Lockwood wrote a book called Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey, where a 10-year-old boy named Baron Trump, who has a mentor named Don, who is a rich man who lives on Fifth Avenue in New York City, he and Don travel to Russia to find a portal to a magical underground world. The third book in the series is called 1900 or The Last President, where Don runs for president, gets elected. His mentor's name is Pence. There are protests and riots in the streets because he's not a politician. He's a rich man. He fixes the economy, and they mess with the election of 1900. And when he goes to plead his case, he is silenced by the Speaker of the House. There's a lot of coincidences right there. Also, I guess it's a coincidence that Ingersoll Lockwood lived in New York City at the same time as Nikola Tesla, who was working on time travel and teleportation and all sorts of craziness. When Nikola Tesla died in 1943, the FBI gave all of his unfinished research to John Trump, Donald Trump's uncle, who is the longest tenured professor at MIT. He was given, I believe, 38 trunks of information. He only gave 35 back, stating that it was all theoretical. Interesting. I guess it's also a coincidence that IngersollLockwood.com is owned by John McAfee, who tweeted that he had 31 terabytes of information on the government. And if they ever whacked him, he had a dead man. Oh, fuck. Anyway, John McAfee said that he had 31 terabytes of information on the government that was connected to a dead man switch in his Miami penthouse. Less than 12 hours after he was found dead in his cell in France, a building in Miami just mysteriously just fell down. That's a coincidence, right? I haven't even talked about Back to the Future yet, but John Trump died in 1985, which is the same year as Back to the Future came out. In Back to the Future 3, the Doc writes a letter from 1885 to 1955 to let Marty know where he is in time. Could these books be a message to somebody from 1885 into the future? As long as we're talking about Back to the Future, in the first movie, Marty shows up at the Twin Pine Mall at exactly 1:16 a.m. You turn that upside down, that's 9/11. When he comes back from the past, it is now Lone Pine Mall. Twin Towers, and now we have the One World Trade Center. Coincidence. Coincidence. Sure, it's nothing. And yeah, I've spent a little bit of time researching this coincidence, and I still got nothing. I don't know. Time travel, it's probably real. Like, time travel exists now. Yep.
You don't think he's watching the political persecution of his father and his father's supporters? You don't think he got a front row seat to the biggest political witch hunt of all time? If you've ever read Barron's Marvelous Underground Journey or The Last President, you'd know they're going after the wrong Trump.
Do you know Trump's uncle? It was said that he might have invented time travel. Barron Trump is in these novels from the 1800s. It looks like him, and it's stories about him and his father Donald.
Let me talk to you.
Let's travel back in time together. She already told us she would never be Queen of England. What country do you think she'll be Queen of?
But I don't see myself being Queen of this country, because I do things differently, because I don't go by a rule book, because I lead from the heart, not the head.
And since 17 already lets us know the Queen protects the King, now does this picture make sense to you? Hey, if you know, you know.
Bro, what episode of Twilight is this shit? Do you know that on July 9th, just 4 days before what took place, you know what took place, and I gotta tell you, look at what movie was released. Thine Ears Shall Bleed. Dude, in the 1960s, a minister and his family travel west in a covered wagon. When they hear a mysterious sound from the woods, they believe it to be God and worship it until they discover the sound is something much more sinister. Thine ears shall bleed. In the image, it is her right ear. Do you know what the consecration of a priest is? In the Bible, it involves a special ceremony where the priest is set apart for holy services. For example, in Leviticus 8, Moses applied the blood of a sacrificial animal to Aaron's right ear, right thumb, and right big toe. This act symbolizes the priest's commitment to listen to God's word, perform holy actions, and walk in God's ways. Did any of you guys watch the live of him talking about what happened? It was so painful for him to talk about it, but he just told you in the greatest detail, even to the point of him tilting his head. Thine eyes will bleed came out 4 days before all of this happened. It is really mind-blowing, everything that is unfolding and happening. And let me tell you what, your speech, sir, was very boastful. In fact, everything that you shared that day was so incredibly boastful. Did you go see the movie? Go see the movie. Why don't you just really quick get off here, stop, okay? Go search Thine Ears Shall Bleed. Go watch the trailer of it, okay? And then just come back here and tell me what you think. Because what are the odds that this movie came out 4 days before that happened? What are the odds that the attempt happened 2 days before the RNC? What are the odds that everything is playing out the way it is? Hey, didn't you guys see at the RNC, at the last night of the RNC, how someone came up to Trump and said something to him that changed his energy instantly, and then he walked off? And the next day, now we're dealing with a global outage of technology that's grounded how many flights? Yo, this is like a play. We're in it. We're watching this play, and this is scripted. The whole thing is. It is pretty mind blowing. But yeah, did you guys know about that movie?
Oh my God, there it is. That's it, right there. The owl statue. Old guard. It says old guard on there. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. God. Should I? I think we should. Be careful. Quiet.
If you think that this guy right above me is a human, well, think again. The dude's name is Valiant Thor, and apparently he came to planet Earth and spoke to President Eisenhower to discuss humanity's progress. At 8 a.m. on March 16, 1957, a giant saucer lands in a crop field about 20 minutes away from the White House. 2 local policemen arrive at the scene, and as they investigate the mysterious aircraft, they see the door on the saucer open and they draw their weapons. Now what comes out of the saucer ain't your typical 3-foot tall alien gray. It's a man that appears to be in his late 20s, 6 foot tall, and average build, brown hair, brown eyes. The only thing that stood out to the police was his outfit. He was wearing like a golden jumpsuit that didn't have any seams or pockets. He tells the cops that he means no harm and that he wishes to speak with President Eisenhower. Now the craziest part about this is that he communicates with the officers telepathically. The police don't even question his very particular request and take him straight to the Pentagon. He gets to the Pentagon and then they escort him down to a secret underground train station that connects the Pentagon to the White House. Valiant Thor gets to the White House and introduces himself to the president. Val tells the president he has traveled from, quote, the planet your Bible calls the morning star. Eisenhower's like, all right, that's straight. I'm familiar with Venus, which is the planet that he's referring to. Val then tells the president that he has been sent to Earth by a group called the High Council, which seems to be some kind of benevolent committee of intergalactic beings. Basically a bunch of aliens looking out for less intelligent beings like us. He tells the president that it's his mission to convince military leaders to deactivate their nuclear capabilities because it's not only a concern to the people of Earth, but it's a concern to people out in outer space. This gives credence to all the high-ranking government officials from all over the world that claim that there is a galactic federation out there. There's a lot more to Valiant Thor's story, so like for part 2, follow for more, and as always, keep it adrenalus.
I lay down for bed at 10:30 p.m. and it is now 12:03 a.m. So around 1.5 hours I have been on the wrong side of TikTok, or maybe it's the right side of TikTok, I'm not sure. But I have been on, in the last hour and a half, down the entire rabbit hole of the JB talk, the Donald Trump talk, the Camilla talk, the coconut tree talk, the unburdened by what has been talk, the Secret Service talk, the Harry talk, the continent splitting fault talk, the Whitney and Mama C talk. But the talk that I'm most concerned about, where the fuck is our president? While I feel about as wacky as the wacky tobacco that is sold down in Colorado, one must still ask, where the fuck is our president? I've not really ever fell into conspiracies, but the one conspiracy that I did fall into in 2019 was the 2019 Joe Biden conspiracy. Because I done a lot of research, I did a lot of comparison, and I'm sorry, they're not the same people, and I don't care. If they are, the man had some sort of surgery, he had some sort of work done to his face, because they do not look the same. That is beside the point, because now both of them, 1, 2, 3, A, B, or C, they're all gone. They're gone where they at. And to be quite frank, I'm a little bit nervous to even post about it because all these people are disappearing out here like Disappearing Inc. back in the 90s, and nobody's talking about it. Well, everybody's talking about it, but nobody's giving answers. That's the scary part. I don't like the old JB, don't like him at all, but I still don't want him to be unburdened by what has been. I want health for him and his family, but I would also like to know where they are. I'm sorry, but he just broke up with his Americans via text message. We are grown-ups, or why are we doing that? We are supposed to be breaking up with our people face to face. It is 2024. Give me a little bit of video action here. Also, not to mention the accidental slip up that Camilla had at the little debriefing that she had where she almost called it a recording. Also, that wasn't even his voice. It didn't even sound like him. First off, that sounded like a much more intelligent, much more cohesive, not senile man talking on the other end of that line. And why did he call her kid? Why did he call her kid like he was her grandpa? That wasn't him. Can't convince me otherwise. And if it was him, I need to see your face. I need to see you, JB. Are you still kicking? Or are you being kicked? If you have not been on that side of the talk, then I suggest that you go like one, maybe like this one. This one might put you on the talk. Because that side of talk should terrify you. It should insanely terrify you. Like I said, I have never been a fan of JB, but I do feel like I have just been ghosted. And that feeling is unsettling.
Doesn't matter which news from around the world. There is no mention of the fact that all of Paris has now been surrounded by farmers and farm equipment, taxis, and whoever else is joining the fight, and that they're barricading Paris. You don't think this is maybe front page fucking news? Or that
someone on this app finally talking sense, and they're on my level. I did a video yesterday about the news. How is that not on? It's still today. No mention of it. I have not seen anything mentioned on any news media platform at all. But hey, let's tell you Taylor Swift has never won Best Song at the Grammys. Or what about Facebook turns 20? But here's the best one. How to eat Five Guys for free. Actually, that's not a bad one. There was a pigeon in the news the other day, what I did a video on, been detained by police officers and released after 8 months because they thought it was a Chinese spy. How is that news? It's not news. People not winning Grammys and stuff is not news. So you got to think to yourself, why are no media outlets putting this out there? Why is nobody talking about it? I'm going to upload another video shortly showing you a supermarket in France just because of the farmers protesting. And this is what's going to happen if we don't get behind the guys. It's madness what's happening at the moment. Madness. And no one seems to be taking it serious.